What's going on, Falcons fans? Logan here. So, we've come to a point where we don't need to rant about our Falcons anymore. Cause we get it. Dan Quinn needs to go, our defense sucks, and our offense has kind of been on and off at times. Simply put, it's just not a good year for us. We have one more game coming up against the Seattle Seahawks, and then we go into a bye week, and we're going to have lots to talk about from there. But for today, we're going to go over, do the Atlanta Falcons need to rebuild? Let's get into that.
Now, before I begin, I do want to mention that rebuilding, or retooling even, isn't a bad thing. Yes, you're losing talent, and yes, it could mean you're in for some losing seasons, but all the team's trying to do is get rid of what wasn't working before and develop a new team that could possibly work in the long run. That sounds pretty good to me, so don't view rebuilding or even retooling as a bad thing. I'd rather try new things and see what works instead of stick with something that never worked at all and hope it'll change this time. And hopefully you guys are the same. But anyway, do the Atlanta Falcons need to rebuild? If I was Arthur Blank, I would think we don't necessarily need to rebuild, but rather retool. Rebuilding means you basically get rid of everyone on your roster, and that would include Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I will say this though, if Matt Ryan's released, then I think you can consider us a rebuilding team. But let's hope to the heavens above that doesn't happen. So, by hearing me say I think the Falcons should retool, you're probably wondering, what changes would I personally want to make if I were Arthur Blank? Despite the fact that I'm an absolute joke at math and I definitely would struggle with figuring out cap space, I think these are reasonable moves that most Falcons fans would agree with, hopefully. Let's start with the coaching staff. First and foremost, I'm so sorry, but you cannot do anything special with this team if Dan Quinn is still here, both as head coach and defensive coordinator. I appreciate what you've done here, man, but time is up. And same with Dirk Cutter. You've done great things for us, back then at least, but this year is letting us know maybe this won't work out. By the way, controversial pick, but I think Thomas Dimitroff stays. I think he's done a good job of finding talent, as his last few draft picks in Calvin Ridley and Caleb McGarry have been doing pretty well. So I'd keep him for at least one more year. But what happens with the coaching staff? I won't go into full depth on why I would like to see one of these names as our head coach, because that's for a different time, but here's some names I'd like to see as head coach. Mike McCarthy, Josh McDaniels, Lincoln Riley, Jim Harbaugh, and Eric Bieniemy. Pretty sure I'm hinting that I'd love to see an offensive-minded coach. Who would I choose? Alright, I can't wait to hear your takes on this one. This might go well, it might not. But for now, I actually would be okay with having Lincoln Riley as head coach. Again, I won't go into full depth on this one, but I'll briefly, just real quickly summarize why I like Lincoln Riley as head coach. He can develop not only the offense, but also his quarterbacks. Now hold on, Matt Ryan is already a proven and developed quarterback. He virtually develops offensive coordinators to become great. There's no denying that one. Really, all I'm trying to get at is this. Baker Mayfield was a freaking walk-on and then won Heisman under Lincoln Riley. And then Kyler stepped up last year and won Heisman, and now he's able to lead that Arizona Cardinals team on his back. And now look at Jalen Hurts. He's a Heisman candidate. Hearing that, and that he'll be working with Matt Ryan, they could make some amazing things happen. We saw this story happen before with Matt Ryan and Kyle Shanahan. Safe to say both of them made great things happen. It's all about teamwork. And you know damn well Matt Ryan could make a historic offense again with Lincoln Riley. I also think Lincoln Riley brings in energy for his team that helps them win. Again, all of that is for a different time, but that's a real quick summary, I guess, on why I would like to have Lincoln Riley as head coach. But who steps in as offensive and defensive coordinator? I'm going to be honest, I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into this one yet, so as of right now, I have no clue. Falcons fans seem to want Rex Ryan as defensive coordinator. To me, that's a bit of a long shot, but I wouldn't complain if it happened. It'd be interesting to say the least. And as offensive coordinator, I guess Eric Bieniemy, I don't know, he works wonders with the Chiefs offense, so why not? And by the way, no. The whole we could have Lincoln Riley step up as head coach and offensive coordinator? No. Having a head coach play the role of two things, basically, like head coach and offensive coordinator. It just will never work out. Dan Quinn tried that last year, but instead of offensive coordinator, he was defensive coordinator. So, no. Now, for the offensive side of the ball, who would I keep or release? There's not many names on the offense I would get rid of. One of them actually was Mohamed Sanu, simply because I want to develop Calvin Ridley a little more, but Sanu did get released. But let's go through it. Keep Matt Ryan. Please keep Matt Ryan. Yes, he's getting old, but he's got at least 2 more years left in him. I'm okay with drafting a quarterback late in the draft just so he can learn under Ryan, because who in the world is going to have trust in our backup quarterbacks? So I'm okay with drafting a quarterback just so he can learn under Matt Ryan, but to have him start over Matt Ryan, hell no. Like I said, Matt Ryan could work well with Lincoln Riley, and also, well, he's Matt Ryan, he's been in the league for, I believe, 12 years for a reason. To anyone that says his time is up, they have no idea what they're talking about. I would release Devontae Freeman. Time's up, man. You've always been one of my favorite Falcons, but I don't think this will work out anymore. It's time to develop Ito Smith and Quadre Allison, and maybe some other running backs we draft. Keep Julio Jones. Yes, he's getting up there in age, but he definitely has at least 2 or 3 more years left in him. Keep Calvin Ridley. He's shown nothing but potential in his first 2 seasons in the league. I don't see how it'll stop now. Keep Austin Hooper. I will admit that I was wrong about him over the summer. I thought at first he was just kind of average, but he seems to be getting better every year. Our backup tight ends, not so much. There's a rumor that Hooper's going to get traded, and I guess I understand that part of it is for cap space, but I think that would overall be a dumb idea. He's been one of Matt Ryan's favorite targets, and by the way, is killing it for me in fantasy football. I personally wouldn't get rid of him. And there's no one in the O-line I would get rid of except maybe Wes Schweitzer and Jamin Brown. Our O-line is for the most part pretty young, so why not develop them? And now for the defensive side of the ball. Oh boy, where to start? Well, we know Vic Beasley's going to get traded. I personally think Takk McKinley should get released. I maybe was a little too high on him over the summer, but man, he has not done much for us. Keep Grady Jarrett. Obviously, he's really the only good player on our defense this year. For this year's draft, we need to stack up on either D-line or DBs. It doesn't matter what it is, just please stack up on that. I don't think it's fair to go over who we should draft because, I mean, heck, the Combine didn't even start. So let's kind of wait to see how the prospects look after the season. Now, anyway, we would keep Deion Jones, release Devondre Campbell. He's been not very good. This is when I would develop Foye Oluokun. He's a promising young linebacker, and he showed his potential last year. Putting him at the starting role for next year or even this year would be interesting. Release Desmond Trufant, and man, I've been trying to defend him a little bit over the summer, but he's been getting burnt by just about every receiver he faces. Release Keanu Neal. I feel for him, and I hope he recovers, but first off, we need a safety that can cover instead of just hitting you really hard. And second, back-to-back injury-riddled seasons for him, I don't think will make him stay on this team. Release Ricardo Allen. He's been a great example for the team, and he can still play a little bit, but we can't keep inconsistency out there. We also need a little more cap space. Keep DeMonte Casey at nickel. And for Isaiah Oliver, and I'm going to get so much hate for this, but I'm going to try and be real in this channel at the same time. Yes, corners take a few years to develop. And I do agree that he should stay for at least 1 more year. But all I'm going to say is, I truthfully haven't seen any development his whole NFL career. If you're not showing at least a little bit of development, that doesn't do it for me. I'll give him another shot next year, but if he still shows no development, I'd kick him out. Oh, and just in case you guys are wondering, I'd quietly grab a new kicker and punter. As first off, Matt Bryant and Busher are old as heck. And second, let's just be real. They haven't been who they usually are every season, especially Matt Bryant. I see him beating himself up on the sideline every time he misses a kick. Is it time to develop other special teams players? Maybe, but I would quietly grab a new kicker and punter. But that's what I do as Arthur Blank. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and let me know what changes you would make if you were Arthur Blank. Other than that, please make sure to smash that like button, blow up the comment section, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any weekly content. New episodes every Tuesday and Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern, and I'll see you guys this Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. Rise up.